Okay, these days there's a lot of talk about finding your village.
Yes.
And the world's changed a lot. Online communities are all over the place in a lot of different forms. But to what extent can online communities replace in-person connection? We're going to kind of break down like the limitations of both of those. And we're also going to share a very big announcement about Balanced Families. And we're going to share about our Mother's Day giveaway where one lucky mama out there is going to win $1,000. Bona fide cash money in the bank. Let's jump in. This is the Balanced Family Podcast with Ben.
And Jessica, there's a lot to balance when you have a family. Marriage, kids, health, career, while you're trying to balance all the opinions out there on how to do things right.
Today, we'll cut through the noise, tackle hard questions, and share stories as we try to get to the heart of the things that really matter. Jessica, where were you when you discovered MySpace?
Oh, snap. I was in high school. Would have been in high school. I don't remember where I was.
Now pause. There's probably people that don't even know what MySpace is listening to this.
Oh, how do you describe MySpace? MySpace was like the precursor to Facebook in terms of social media. For me, it was a place to find cool scene music kids because I was a little bit a part of that scene as well, like emo, if you will. The thing that I remember the most about MySpace that was kind of diabolical, and I do not think that Gen Z could handle this, is you would rate. Do you remember you would rate your friends on MySpace?
I don't remember that.
Number 1, number 2, number 3. So you would like...
Really?
Yes. Like you would like put like who your top 5 were. Do you not remember this?
I don't.
It was diabolical, man. Because you would see your name on someone else's MySpace profile as like their top 5.
Oh my gosh.
And
What?
and there's always be like drama around it.
That's like in elementary, you make a
You
list
definitely
of
were
like
not probably a part of
because
that
I was in,
side.
it was
of
all about the
MySpace.
music for me.
Yeah, totally. But you would have like your profile pic if you're watching this.
As cool as possible. Yeah. yeah.
That,
Well, no, there wouldn't be that. We didn't have smartphones.
That's
to do
true.
selfies.
Oh, yeah. So
how
would
did we
you
take
even
pictures
do
of
it?
ourselves? How did you even get a digital photo onto the internet back then? I don't even remember.
I think you had to hook it up to you had to put it onto your computer and then download it.
Now I will say
Because we had digital cameras back then. So
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you would
digital
take,
yeah.
You would do digital cameras like
that's
this.
right. Well, see, I'm a guy. I wasn't doing as many selfies, but you're right. Like,
Yeah. So
these
you would do
kids
like,
these days without a front-facing camera. Yeah, like you had to selfie, and you would sometimes miss, and you look at it like crap. You're like, I just took a picture of the wall.
So
you got to redo it.
I had a bright orange Canon little whatever those were.
I think we still have that. We have some of those little ones.
But anyway, but the community aspect of MySpace was actually like rather cutthroat. And
yeah.
You would like find people, and then because you were on MySpace, you said to find
it was all about music, and
Okay.
I wrote electronic music when I was a teenager, and so I had like the little player that I'd promote my music. That was it. I mean, MySpace was the platform for bands to promote themselves.
But let's go back to AOL Instant Messenger. That was really the OG of community, quote unquote community, because I would get online after school and message. I would have 10 different screens up messaging with all my friends. My username was XOX Dancer Girl XOX. So there's that for you.
Yeah. I didn't even.
You didn't use AOL Instant Messenger?
No, I mean, I don't. To me, cool. Like that is the equivalent of like social media. Like girls are just more into that kind of thing.
Dude,
there were plenty of guys on
and you would be like, oh my gosh, he's online. Do you think he likes me?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
I mean, I
was well into.
If I was on computer, I was playing games.
Yeah,
I didn't care
the boys were into all that. But then there was Facebook, which came out.
Back before we get to Facebook, I remember Zanga.
Oh, Zanga
was another move. I didn't even have a Zanga.
So it's a blog. It was the OG blog.
OG blogging.
And I had a Zanga that. Should I even tell this story?
Probably not. I don't
know.
Hope it's not still out there.
I actually tried to look it up probably last year. I was like, I need to find that Zanga and then burn it because I got in big trouble for a particular Zanga blog post that I posted. Anyway, yeah. So Zanga was a big deal, a really big deal. or you would just essentially like just dump all of your thoughts and feelings.
It's awful.
And people, people would like read your blog posts. Again, Gen Z could never,
Yeah.
okay? Like, because you would write, I mean, like pages of
Yeah.
it was like your personal journal online
Yeah.
that other people could read.
But some of it would be really dark, and it had
Yeah.
there were a lot of the same issues nowadays
Yes.
where like people are bullying,
Yes.
cyberbullying, and I mean there was like cyberbullying before we called it cyberbullying,
Yeah.
and there would be people saying some super dark
like,
stuff
yeah,
about self harm and
suicide,
whatnot.
yeah.
And I remember being at school and everybody's like,
Did you read so-and-so's saying
"Yeah,
that?
it's just gonna like end it," and you're just like, "What?"
And it was wild because like, you would just like write. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my
Zanga.
gosh.
Did you on Zanga? Did you have to custom code
Oh,
the
100%.
HTML just like MySpace?
Yes. And I loved doing my
So that's the
custom.
other thing. Gen Z, they
No,
don't-
we had to code.
We had to code.
Yeah.
To have a.
I remember like Googling like HTML codes for like cool colors and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And you had to like input it in the right spot.
Oh, and how frustrating it would
Oh
be
my
when the
gosh,
code didn't
'cause
work.
you-
Oh my gosh. And as
I'm
a
unlocking
musician,
a part of my brain that
as a
like,
musician, I mean, I took that so seriously, and like my
bet you
MySpace
did.
just had to be perfect.
yeah.
Because that's how you would get discovered and stuff. And I discovered a lot of really cool
Mm-hmm.
music through MySpace. Also, remember, so they would like count the plays, and
Oh,
I would
yeah.
sit there and I would just for hours just like refresh, and play my music.
That is funny.
I mean, that's what people do that nowadays with YouTube. Like when
Yeah.
kids will refresh their
play,
YouTube
yeah.
videos, and but it worked. I got up to like I think I remember doing that at some point. I got all my songs up to like thousands of listens. I mean, I was like gonna make it,
Yeah, of course you were.
and that's hilarious.
Too bad you didn't make
So,
it.
but okay, Facebook is what really changed the game. I remember vividly where I was at when
Me
I was
too.
introduced to Facebook.
Me too.
Why don't you tell them?
It was summer before my freshman year of college, and I was, you had to have a university email to even get access. It was only for universities.
Yeah.
So when I finally got my UARK email, UARK, because I went to the University of Arkansas, I signed up for Facebook, and for me, it was a way. Like I like was a woman on a mission because I wanted to find friends that liked the same music as me.
Mm-hmm.
And who were also Christians. Like that was like my thing.
And
Was
you
like
and you didn't know anybody at U of A.
I knew zilch.
Yeah.
Actually, I knew like there were like 3 people from my high school who went to the U of A. So not very many. I didn't live in Oklahoma, or I didn't live in Arkansas. I lived in Oklahoma. And so I was like dead set on finding my people at the U of A. And so back then you would put the bands that you were interested in your profile, but you could click the band name,
Yeah.
and it would take you to all the other people who like it, who were near you, who
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to your. So I would cold call then, straight up cold
Oh,
message.
yeah, everybody did that.
I would cold message you, be like, "Hey, what's
what's up?"
up?
Yeah, yeah.
Like cool music taste or whatever," and you would just like, or you would poke them. Do you remember the
The
poke,
poke.
feature?
Oh my gosh.
And
Is
so
that
you
even
would,
around? I don't
No,
know.
but you would poke them, which was kind of like a way of saying like, "Hey." Anyway, and that was how talking about like online community coming into real life, because that's what we're going to talk about. Is I like did it to find my real life people
Yeah.
locationally,
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
yeah.
Man,
What about you?
well, I'm just laughing about how cool Facebook was.
It was so cool.
Like Facebook is like
everything.
totally dorky now. Like nobody's on Facebook in our generation and below, hardly. And I mean, I get on Facebook for certain reasons we're going to talk about, which is like groups and marketplace.
Yeah.
But I mean, back then it was so cutting edge and cool. And actually it was like way more stripped down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there's like too much going on Facebook. Back then, I mean, it was super sleek, super simple. And it was just like your profile and the poking. Yeah.
And poking.
But no, I remember it would have been
Your senior year.
it would have been my
probably.
senior year
Yeah.
because you were a grade above me. And I remember hanging out at a couple friends' house and they were telling me about it. And I think at that point, I guess you didn't need a college email. I can't remember, but maybe I already had my
I
college
think Facebook
email.
might have actually come out before I went to college, but I don't know.
But
Yeah.
I mean, well, even when it came out, there was a period where you still had to have a college email because it went from Harvard or whatever to other campuses. And then eventually just like we're everywhere. I can't remember if I had to have one or not, but it was still fairly early on, but I wasn't like one of the first in my friend groups to have it. But I just remember like it was like this whole other world that was happening that I didn't even know about. And there's an intense like FOMO with social media. I mean, that's still way. I mean, now especially, but back then it was just like, oh my gosh, what am I missing out on? Like previously, like Zanga, it was like I had no interest in getting on Zanga. That sounded dumb to me. And like MySpace to me was totally functional. It was about promoting music, unlike you, ranking your friends and being all cutthroat. But like Facebook, it felt like there was this FOMO. Like this is where the real stuff's happening as a young person, and I'm missing out on it.
Right.
And that kind of started just what we can see as just over time, like a lot of the negative effects of social media, to where people eventually are more engaged with the digital world than they are the real world. And kind of what we wanted to talk about in this episode is actually, you can actually have both. And part of finding balance as a balanced family is like having boundaries around your digital life and being purposeful in that, and also being purposeful in your in-person life. Because this is kind of the world we live in. Now, if you just want to like go off grid and like cut off social media and like technology, like I'm all for that, whatever. But we have found in our personal lives actually a lot of value from online communities. And
That's how I found all my friends in college.
yeah,
So
well, yeah. I mean,
it was actually really amazing.
staying connected to people.
Because I was afraid I was going to get in the wrong group. Like,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like in a, but like in high school, I really struggled in my Christian walk finding like-minded people. And I was really like, going to college was a big decision point for me in terms of like, am I really going to follow my beliefs? You
Yeah.
know, am I really going to follow Christ? And I really, really wanted to find the cool Christians. It's just like, I want to be friends with them. I am one of them. And so it was actually like the online community led me to an in-person community that really helped me grow in my Christian faith. So
Yeah, I mean, humans have always wanted to connect with people, and what online communities have done, they've made the process extremely efficient to find people.
Yeah.
So we have a story about that efficiency that was actually extremely important for us. And we've mentioned this in like so many episodes, but one of our daughters has a severe chronic illness, and it's very rare. And in our state, there's only like 3 million people live in Arkansas. And just like the caseload of that particular illness, like just doctors don't see it very often. And I remember when we were learning about the disease, this would have been many years ago, it was hard to get answers from doctors around here.
Google was not helpful.
Yeah, and Google was not helpful. And we quickly found a Facebook group of people with her disease from parents all over the world. And it, talk about like connect the efficiency of connection. I mean, it was just like instantaneous. It was like, we learned so much, and you could ask any question you wanted to ask, and you got real world answers. And we learned, and we talk about this with our birth class students all the time. Like, you can Google something and get an answer, or you can talk to a real human and get an answer. And the 9 times out of 10, what you're going to hear from a real person is so much more valuable and applicable and nuanced and personalized. And that's what we experienced firsthand with her disease. Like, you would read stuff about this disease, and like the research is still kind of outdated, and you would read it and just be like, this is horrible. Like, this is the end of the world. And then we got on that Facebook group, and there were parents, showing pictures of their grown kids that have, that are thriving, and give real world examples of what they, how they made it through certain surgeries. And just, it was like instantaneous, like, wow, like look at the resource we have. And the resource wasn't Google or AI. It was like people and their experiences. And that was just incredible for us. And next thing you knew it, we learned about an in-person conference about this disease.
Where we could meet real people.
These people we met on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was up in Milwaukee.
Life-changing.
It was up in Milwaukee, which is really cool because we have some friends in Milwaukee. So we went up there, stayed with them. We went to this conference, and all these people we met in this Facebook group that all share this same, struggle. It was like in person. And it was just incredible. And it was like
And we learned a lot.
a whole lot. I mean, we know more than most doctors.
We do.
Because, and it's not an arrogant thing. It's like, they just literally don't ever encounter this. And,
yeah, we could tell stories about that, but
yeah.
digressing. Yes.
So anyway, like there's a lot of talk these days about how, about finding your village, right? And I know in our lives, like nothing's going to replace our in-person village, which would be our church community that we're very connected with and have such strong relationships with. Our family, our friends, like the people right here on ground zero. Of course, you're never going to replace that. But if you can tap into the power of online communities, you can really learn a lot from other people's experiences that you couldn't in person. And this is what we've been talking about recently, is like there's actually limitations to in-person relationships. And this example with our daughter's health was one. There was no way that we would, have the collective knowledge of thousands of parents in our local community. Or even if you went to a big metro area in the US, you would not accumulate the experiences that we were able to tap into in that Facebook group.
Yeah, it's really true. And I think, when to your point, then taking this kind of what we're talking about with online communities and finding your village as a new mom, there is just a huge benefit, I think, especially also of finding like-minded people who are online. I think that's really hard to do because there's online community and there's social media, and you can, look at influencers and how they do things or whatever, but there's nothing like really actually real connection. So it's like, I'm kind of taking it then on the opposite extreme, which is a lot of moms, like they find a lot of information or they find a lot of value in following certain accounts on social media and getting, instructions essentially of how to, take care of your baby or whatever. And I think that also can be difficult because that influencer doesn't know you. They don't know your personal situation. You don't actually have a relationship with them. They are not going to give you advice because they're, so they might be showing something that they're doing, day in the life of a stay-at-home mom, and they're doing all this stuff with their kids. And like, you might be like, oh man, that's a great idea. But, the online community, actually having people that you do connect with and message with then is so valuable because then you get to ask questions, you get to interact, you get to hear differing perspectives, but in a place that hopefully has similar mindsets and values to you as a mom, because you just never know, online what you're going to find,
Absolutely.
Or it may just not really fit your situation. And man, there's just nothing like being able to get like real information from real people who know about you. So, talking about that Facebook group for our daughter, and I can't tell you the amount of times that I've like messaged on there, hey, she's having these symptoms. She's, this, and this. What do y'all think? And I'll get, 20 comments of people and some people will be like, go to the ER immediately. And then other people will be like, it's no big deal. But like for me as a parent, then I'm getting like, they'll be explaining why, like, oh, when that happened to my daughter, this, and happened. And then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I need to Google that. Okay. And it helped me be able to make decisions that were relevant for our situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like there's value in both. And I think that's the point of this episode, is that we need that human to human connection. Like naturally, like if you live your life only in the digital world, like there will be a void. But what's amazing is that there's so much resource and relationship that can be leveraged online. So really like a balanced family, when we always talk about having a balanced family, I think you can have both for different reasons. It's like it's kind of like our close friends, our church community, our family, like they support us in our daughter's health spiritually, and they're giving us encouragement and they're praying for us. You know what I'm saying? We get counsel sometimes when needed. And like, that's really important. And that's something that we could only get from people that know us on a deep level, like an intimate level, and who actually know our daughter and can be a listening ear when we talk about just the different struggles we face with her. But then we can go out to our online community and we can get a lot of that just practical guidance on and just learning about some of the medical side of things. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, which is leading us to a really exciting announcement. But I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I love building up the drama.
Yeah, of course you do.
One thing
You didn't have a Zanga though, so you don't really know drama. I'm sorry, I had to bring it back.
and I didn't rank my friends on
You
MySpace.
did not.
Things were very benign for mine.
Yeah.
So there's vastly different experiences, right? In-person community, online community. But there's one thing that they both have in common, and that's human connection that will never be replaced by AI. AI's trying, but people, and it's been crazy since the AI revolution. Like people are already just recognizing a lot of the limitations, even though we use it a lot. And that it's kind of like Google, like people have used Google forever and in-person, knowledge and people. It's like AI. It's like we're going to be using both. But what's interesting is that like AI could never replace that. And what's interesting about human beings, when you think about just like human history, they're always starving for a village and connection and community. But then there's this other side of humans that want self-reliance. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. And there's been many movements throughout history of people just want to go get isolated, go live out in the wilderness and just be alone, usually because they're sick of the ills of society. And so there's a desire to be self-reliant, and it's tempting to think AI is going to fill that need. If I could just go to AI, if I just go to Google, and eventually Google is going to be obsolete, everything's going to be AI based, and get my answers there, then I can just live on my own, not bother anybody with my questions, and go about my business. That's just never going to work. Like we always need community. And so we have to be strategic about the people you're building life with. That's leading us to our big announcement.
Can I do the drum roll now?
Yeah. That's a pretty good.
Is it good?
Tongue. What do you call that? Trill?
Trill?
Yeah.
It's because I took Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Arriba! I didn't do that one very well.
That is offensive.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, we are launching an online community.
We are. A real one.
The Balanced Families membership.
Bonafide.
And it's going to be awesome. And
Yes.
it's actually been something on our hearts and a dream of ours for actually many years. It's just kind of like taken time to like get to this point. And so like right now we have some support groups for our online course students who, if you buy, most people that buy our birth class, they get our birth and postpartum support group. Well, starting what's already been separated now, we have separated that support element and the community element with the courses. So people are able to enroll in the courses if they just want the courses, or you can become a member of the community, which also has all these resources and stuff we're going to talk about too. And you can be a member and not enroll in our courses. And then we've expanded out the different phases of parenting to go well beyond birth and postpartum, to go all the way to kids and teens. So we have a pregnancy and postpartum group within the community, babies 5 to 12 months, toddlers and preschool, kids. What do we call the kids one?
School age, I think.
Kids and teens is in the same group right now. Yeah, excuse me. And then we have special interest groups. That sounds like a political thing.
Yeah.
We have topical groups. So we have homemaking and DIY, and we have Christian living, and then we have dads of balanced families.
Of course.
So I run the dads group, and it's just dads of any phase of life. And then we have, why don't you talk about the chat group? I'm really
excited. Yeah. So the chat groups are awesome. There's 2 different options there. You can join a chat group based on your due date. So we kind of have like a due date range, like, April to June or, something like that, where you can join a group and then you get to actually message with moms who are in your same stage of life. Because there's benefit to that, like that peer-to-peer. There's also benefit to being a part of like the pregnancy and postpartum group, or even the toddler group, where you're getting more veteran moms in there. And we've seen that in our current support group, the benefit of having veteran moms giving advice who've been there. Yeah. They are balanced family students, but they're giving advice to new moms. But then there's a benefit to just being a new mom and getting to interact with people who are in your same stage. And you'll get to then kind of keep going with those same moms. So
Yeah.
as your babies develop, you guys can all chat and it's fun. We also, and I'm really excited about this, we have location-based groups.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not going to be able to hit every location,
Right.
but the major locations that we have a lot of students in and eventually a lot of members in, we will have groups based on that. So like a Moms of LA, a Moms of
Yeah. Currently we have Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, South Florida, or like Miami Metro. And currently, like at the time of launching, those are the groups we have. And we hope to expand that over the years. And so what's cool about the Balanced Families membership is not only are you connecting online with like-minded parents who are trying to build a balanced family, you can then like meet up.
for real meetup.
people.
Yeah.
So we're super, super, super excited about this. And we're going to have resources that are going to be available only for the membership. And eventually those resources are going to expand to all phases of parenting and marriage development. We're going to have different marriage development resources, but
I'm so excited.
yeah,
It's like just talking about it.
we're going to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So the resources right now, first off, we're going to have live events and workshops. We've got one coming up, and then we also have like some courses. So right now we have a week by week pregnancy class for couples. So pregnant couples can watch these weekly videos and learn about their baby's development, what's going on with mom, practical things for dad to support. And at the end of each video, we have discussion questions for you to talk about as a couple so you can grow together, grow closer together as you're pregnant. You want to talk about the other course?
Yeah. So the other course is the Balanced Body Prenatal Exercise course. So taking what I've learned in my certification as a Body Ready Method Pro, and I've created, right now there's just 5. I'll be adding on more exercises over time, but they are basically exercises that are going to help prep pregnant moms for birth, bringing balance to their body, helping strengthen and stretch different, areas that sometimes can get tight during pregnancy. There's exercises that are specific for like sciatica. If you have sciatica pain, I have an exercise for that. I have a pelvic floor prep specific class that is going to teach you not just traditional Kegels, but for real, actually prepping your entire pelvic floor for birth. And then just some other ones, one for nighttime, one for morning time, one just if you want like a quick little stretch. They're really awesome. And I'm really excited about the exercises because I feel like that has always been a missing piece in my birth education that I feel like is really important for prepping pregnant moms for not only just birth, but also postpartum. So it's gonna be great.
I want us to talk more about the membership. First, we got to announce the giveaway because it
yeah.
is Mother's Day and it is just super exciting. So in celebration of this membership, which costs $49.99 for a 3-month membership, and it's like $149.97 for a annual membership. That's the cost, but you get to try it out for 3 days free. So you get a free trial. But what we're going to do in celebration of Mother's Day is anyone that joins the membership and completes what's called the member checklist. So when you get into the app, because this is all hosted on an awesome mobile app too.
Yeah,
we forgot
when you
to
talk
even
about
mention
the
that.
app. Yeah, we also have an app now.
It's an amazing mobile app. This is beautiful. It's sleek, distraction free, so much better than Facebook where you get on there and next thing you know it, you're on Marketplace, scrolling memes and totally distracted. Like the Balanced Family app, like you're going to be getting on it in a very purposeful manner. But anyway, when you get in there, there's a member checklist, and it's the checklist like you watch a video from me and Jess, you accept the guidelines, you edit your profile, you say hello to everybody. Like it's pretty straightforward. We are going to put everyone that completes the member checklist into a drawing for Mother's Day, and the winner is going to get $1,000
Woo.
cash money straight up. $1,000 for our members who complete the member checklist. So pretty awesome. Talking more about the membership though, this is just fulfilling such a big dream for ours because even in the beginning, wanting to build a strong birth support community, it's always been our hearts of like, man, I wish we had a way for this to like grow with our customers, our students. And sometimes it's funny in the birth and postpartum group, like moms will get on there and have a question about their toddlers, but it's kind of weird because it's like birth and postpartum. Then it just shows you like we need support. We need community moving on into parenthood, well beyond just having birth. And this is going to facilitate that. I mean, we've already had students in our support group for like over 4 years, and this is going to be just such a more resourceful place for them. But it's also close to our hearts because we know as parents that being a good parent is so much more than education. And we've been talking about this thing we call the transformative journey of parenthood. And there's really 4 components to how you are transforming as a parent. It is education, like getting knowledge, but community is a huge part of how you actually grow. And the third part of that is your own personal experiences. So everybody has unique individual experiences as a parent. And when you're a part of a community, you bring that experience and it enriches others. And then lastly, reflection. So the only way you really truly grow as a person, as a parent, is to reflect and talk with your spouse and talk with others and reflect on what you're learning, what's working well, what's not working. And then that cycle just continually just goes while you're in parenthood. You're learning education, you're connecting with others, you're having your personal experiences, and you're reflecting on those. It's just never ending. And that's what this app and this community is going to be able to facilitate better for parents than just a Facebook group where it's, there's just a lot of benefits to being on a different platform than just a Facebook group. And I'll also add that having a private exclusive community is just a much richer experience than totally open, massive Facebook groups. Cause you can get on Facebook and find plenty of like support groups, but it's just a mixed bag of the culture.
Well, and we've talked about this before. If you've ever been on any mom groups, you know exactly what we're talking about. You ask a question and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you would even consider, I don't know, blank, whatever.
A lot of toxic stuff.
Or you just get like a ton of different opinions. I mean, my goodness, and you don't really know, like, this one person who's giving me this opinion might be in a completely different personal experience or a completely different mindset. And so what's so awesome about having this private support group is that the people who are in our app are like-minded. I mean,
pursuing balance.
Yeah, they're pursuing balance, and they are not going to be extreme on either end of perspectives about raising your family. And so you can just kind of know, you're going to get different answers. Of course, you're going to, if you were to ask a question about baby sleep, you're going to get different answers, but you're never going to feel judged,
right?
For personal decisions.
People can have extreme views. You can have, really one-sided view, but in this community that we've created, like there's empathy, there's respect. And that's a really big piece of why a private community is a lot better than an open Facebook group, because it's moderated by us, Ben and Jessica. It's our baby. It's our community.
And we're very serious about upholding the culture of the community. And what we've built so far on our private Facebook group is wonderful, but we're going to get to expand that even more inside of our private app. And it's going to be just awesome.
Yeah. And long-term, we're going to be able to bring in experts and more people to host workshops. A lot of the workshops are going to be hosted by us in the beginning, but we hope to bring in a lot of outside voices and perspectives. It's really going to be just awesome. These will be live, practical stuff. It's in app. You don't need to get a Zoom link. And I mean, the app is so seamless, and you get recordings. It'll be in the library after that. It's just amazing. And so I would just say, if you like our content, if you like our courses, if you just like us, you would fit amazingly in the membership, because we're building an entire community of people that like talking about this stuff, that like being intentional and being the best parents they can be. All right, so we could go on, honestly, on and on forever about how awesome this membership is, and we're really excited. We hope you join us. Remember, you can try it for 3 days completely for free, and get in there. You don't like it, then you can leave. Not a big deal. Jessica, let's end with reminding them about the giveaway.
Yeah. So, we're like for real giving away $1,000 in honor of Mother's Day to help people also just get into the app and get going. And so the deadline to be entered into the drawing is Mother's Day, May 11th at 11:59 Pacific. So all you have to do is join the app. You can do this even while you're in the 3-day trial. You go in, you complete the full member checklist. So make sure you hit complete on everything. We're going to take then those names, put them in a drawing, and we will announce the drawing.
Yeah,
we'll let everyone know.
That-
we'll announce a winner.
Early that week, it'll be announced. So it's going to be really exciting. Go check it out. balancedfamilies.com/membership, or just go to balancedfamilies.com and
We'll
you'll
put the
find
link
it.
in the show notes too.
Yeah, totally.
So, okay.
All right. See you in the
See you
app.
later. Thank you so much for listening today. It would mean so much to us if you left a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you heard this.
And let us know your thoughts on today's episode by leaving a comment on Spotify or YouTube, where you can also watch these episodes.